Okay, so when we set up photos, sometimes there's like a weird backstory that we develop for no reason because that's how our imaginations work. So this was for the last Dolly Transformations video of 2018. And
Happy New Year.
I had an idea that we could use the new house that we got and set it up like a New Year's party, and I suggested we put Kyle's Gandalf doll, who has absolutely nothing to do with this video in here.
It's just fun.
Because Dumbledore reminds me of him. So we were discussing how these dolls were related, and I was like, oh, well, are Barbie and Dumbledore an item, and then that's Dumbledore's brother, and these are their kids? Colleen had a different
I said, no, she's a widow. These two are her kids, that's her friend, and this is her older brother, and they're a couple.
Ah, I see. So, that's how weird we are. So yesterday I decided to wash all of my combs and clips that I used for the dolls. Also some of these I used for myself. I just soaked them in hot water with bleach for an hour or two, rinse them off really good and let them dry. So I'm going to put all this stuff away, but I think it's good to do this a few times a year, every few months, every month even, depending on how much you're using combs and things. Not just for yourself, but obviously if you're doing secondhand doll hair, you don't really know where they've been, so it just gives me peace of mind to deep clean everything. I actually have more like rat tail combs and stuff in storage. I get a box and I only use one or two at a time until one breaks or, you know, it's just not usable anymore for some reason. But these are the ones that are currently out. This is seriously not the most precious thing ever. I come in around this time every day, around 3, from going to the farm and from dropping Colleen off at her second job, and every time I come in, this is what I find. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? You want your dinner? Yes! Yes! Yeah, they get their dinner around this time every day, right before I let the chinnies out to play. So finally, after having a very crappy printer for the past many years, it literally just stopped printing no matter what we did. It would just print blank pages, so we finally got a cheap like $35 printer from Walmart. That's ink wasn't crazy expensive, and now I can reprint our very much needed inventories. And since we are working on filming at least part of the Skipper collection video today, we needed to redo these lists, so I've been mixing it up. I've been like working on kind of revamping my inventory format, so the columns are pretty much the same, but I've been kind of simplifying certain names of dolls because a lot of Barbies and such are very generically packaged, so it makes sense to kind of give them a name that a lot of people commonly call them. So like in the case of the original Skipper, she's technically labeled as Barbie's little sister Skipper, but we all know that this was something that was put on Skipper's box for many years, and I always get confused. I can't remember if there were like multiple releases of Straight Leg Skipper, so we've called her first edition, and you can see here I separate out like the variants. So this is redhead, this is blonde, and I changed my font too just for the sake of it. So these are like the old list, and you can see here there were quite a few sticky notes. There's dolls that I wrote in that were duplicates, and on this page as well. Skipper's not like that bad, honestly. This one had no changes, but there are some like Monster High. So, okay, so this is Monster High. And this isn't even where it gets ugly. Still Monster High. Monster High! Yeah, that one really needs to be printed. So as we go to like redo collection videos or things, and I always print these to use them as reference when I'm setting up the video, I'll be doing this. Also, instead of having like a bunch of separate pages and using a ton of paper, I'm doing like the duplex printing thing on my printer, and that worked out really nicely. And it's way easier if I need to pull these out and like add a doll in. Colleen is currently in here working on getting the dolls out. This is container 1. They are in 2 different containers.
Vanessa is a hair monster. I like took the thing out and I like put her hair back in and I combed it and I gelled it, and it's still acting crazy, so she's Shelly's problem now.
If we see anyone that like later needs that later needs like a boil wash and stuff, we'll do it after. Unfortunately, as much as I'd like to do their hair first before the video, unless they're an absolute train wreck, it makes the whole process take way too long, and today it's finally sunny, so that is why some of the dolls look better after the video, because you know, they get a little crushed, like their hair gets a little crushed in storage. But yeah, these guys, there's 153 Skippers in total, so they're split up in 2 containers, and it's really important if you have like especially Skippers from the 80s to not put too much weight on them, so not have them in too big of a container, because they have the heads that are the most notorious heads. I know, and there's a few that I have labeled as unmarked for country make in the inventory, but they should say what they technically were on the inside rim of their heads, like dolls that were on the wrong bodies or their bodies broke a long time ago. So, but even then I don't feel safe like taking them off to check, because I just don't want to put any strain on them. Also, in case you're wondering how many dolls we currently have, Colleen decided to tally them up, and we have 3,194 as of January 26th, 2019. This number didn't really go up too much since last year because we didn't really buy a ton of dolls this year. We didn't get many bins or anything because we just couldn't shop as much. So it fluctuates. Honestly, it goes up exponentially because we buy in bulk, in secondhand. So you can get a bin of like 90 dolls, and that obviously would make the number jump way up. And if we tallied all of the like used dolls and the new dolls and the dolls purchased on eBay and did percentage-wise, like used makes up 70% of the collection, I want to say, last time we checked it out. And that's not even including dolls we got boxed at the flea market, so those would technically be purchased from secondhand places. And also, likewise, eBay kind of counts as that because you're buying them from a vendor, not brand new at the store. So yeah, that number is actually a lot more, so the percentage of dolls we get brand new is a lot smaller, which is why, if you're wondering, you don't see many like dolls from 2017 or 2018 in our collection. It's purely because we buy most things secondhand because it's cheaper and we like to make things over, and we are very patient. We don't tend to care about like what's brand new. So that is how many dolls we have. And yes, 1,000 Splendid dolls is a little inaccurate, but I already had more than 1,000 when I started my Flickr in 2015. I had like 22 or 2,400 at the time, so that was never like meant to be literal. It was just meant to overall represent that we had a ton of dolls. We finished finished up the Skipper collection video. However, we have a bunch of retakes for Flickr because obviously we have this new background. It's not really new, we've had it since June, but we changed the background. And these are all the dolls that I photographed before my camera died. And then the ones here on the container lids still need to be photographed, but that's not all the Skippers. So these are the ones that need to be cleaned. And then over here, these are all of the like partners, comrades, counterparts of the dolls that need to be washed. So obviously I'm going to clean them before I photograph them, because why photograph them when they need their hair done?
We have to remember to photograph the red-headed bendable leg skipper separate from the blondes.
You mean the straight leg?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're in here waiting because they didn't all need things done. And all of these guys didn't need things done. So that's what the office is looking like right now.
So ironically, a few weeks back, someone asked us to identify some Barbies. And I was looking through a Barbie book, and I'm like, oh, we don't have that. I want that. Oh, we don't have that either. Ooh, I like that too. And then I'm like, I closed the book and I said, Shelly, I don't know who the Barbie is, but I do know that we don't have enough dolls. And like, I was literally surrounded in dolls on all sides.
Yeah, this is a bit Skipper excessive.
I think I like dolls too much.
So I'm going to insert a little clip after this one of some Skipper dolls, but I wanted to give some context to said clip. Basically, after Colleen and I filmed the Skipper video, as usual, there were dolls that we wanted to clean up a bit, redo the hair, maybe change the outfits on, dolls who needed some kind of repair. So my thought had been, I'll make a Dolly transformations video of it. I've done that before in the past because obviously we do things with our old dolls, not just their new ones. I had it all filmed, I had it all edited, I just needed to finish fixing one of the dolls' heads, and then I could film the end clip. But somehow I deleted my video, the edited video, as well as all of the original clips. I guess I mistook the transformation edit for the Skipper collection video when I was trying to empty out like some clutter in my folders. And then I emptied out my recycle bin, and there was just no way to retrieve the footage. I mean, unless you had special software, which I don't. Okay. So here we are, all of the dolls have been washed. This process took a little longer than I anticipated because we had some problems with reattaching Ellie's head, but more on that in a minute. We have Pet Pals Kevin. He is looking a lot cleaner. He needed a body scrub. Cheerleading Skipper, her ponytails are nice and sleek, as are her bangs. Camp Skipper, I took off her hat. Her hair is really nice. It was nice under the hat, but it's extra nice now that it's been thoroughly washed. Babysitter Skipper. Lillian, she has straight bangs now, and I styled her hair a little bit differently. I think she looks so cute with this hairstyle. Then we have Phone Fun Courtney. She was here mostly for a body wash, but I did do her hair, and I did trim up some of like the splits around her hairline, so she looks a lot nicer. Homecoming Queen, that bump that was underneath her hair is all gone, and I sleeked her bangs a bit. Then we have the two Beach Blast Skippers. I made this one here on the left, I made her bangs completely straight because she had really weird layering, and I also re-boil washed the back too. And you can see that I kept this doll on the right bangs kind of curly for now, but I did boil wash the back of her hair completely straight. Then we have the three Pet Pals Skippers. So I messed up who they were in the when I was introducing them. So this one is actually Ruby, one of Colleen's childhood dolls, and I gave her completely straight bangs, and all of her crimps are now gone, as are this no-name doll that Colleen got as an adult. She has like really weird rooting, that's why I clipped her bangs back. So either the clip will help train them to kind of lay over there, because I did spend a long time boil washing them, but she just has like these spaces between her hair plugs. So either it'll train her hair to go nicely in the direction I want, or the clip can stay. That looks really cute anyways. And then Bunny over here, she just had her bangs touched up. The rest of her hair was fine. You can see that she still has some crimps. Then we have Dream Date Skipper, aka Marsha. making this mullet look good is not easy. Then we have Pajama Fun Skipper. Her hair is so much nicer. It was in just such a bad condition before. She is photographed in her robe for Flickr, but the reason why she's not wearing it now is because we don't have a nightgown to put under it, so since she's such a pretty doll, Colleen wanted to put her in a fashion pack. Then we have 2 Sensational Malibu Skippers. She was mostly here for a body scrub, but it did help her hair, and then this doll was for her hair, but she just has really weird rooting, so her bangs do kind of stick up. Malibu Skipper, she looks a lot better. That serum definitely made her hair look a lot sleeker and shinier, although she still looks pretty beat up. Same with the 3 first edition Skippers. So these 2, she didn't really need a lot done. I just figured I'd do her hair while I was at it, but this one's hair still isn't as nice. And then we have Little Red over here. So I am going to reroot her probably sometime this year. Colleen and I talked it over because she is missing pretty much all her hair on one side, and her bangs have always been quite jacked up. So she's going to get pretty much her own separate transformation video at a later date when I decide to buy the hair and reroot her, because I want to give her the same color hair, the vintage red, so I don't have anything like that. And then we have Bendable Leg. So I touched up her face paint, and you can see that her eyebrows are full now. It's not perfect, like you can kind of see the slight line of demarcation. And then I also touched up her eyeshadow, and I'm going to partially reroot her probably sometime in the future, because what's left of her hair is quite nice, but she is quite bald, so you can see like patches. Then we have the Phone Fun dolls, so Devin and Ellie. Ellie is the one whose head rolled off. So I patched her head, but then because it was colder in the house that day, the acrylic filler didn't cure as fast as it normally would, so I went to put her head on prematurely, and it squished up some of the acrylic filler. So I pushed it back down because it was still kind of tacky, and I thought, oh well, I'll just let it fully cure and then I'll put her head back on. But because I had interrupted the drying process, it was weakened in that area, so when I went to put her head on the next day, it rolled off again, so then I had to create a whole new patch and let that dry for 24 hours, and now it's fine. So she's all set, and she still has some crimps left, whereas Devin over here, I got rid of all of her crimps. And then we have Daphne, Teen Time Courtney. Colleen changed her outfit. We talked about that so she wouldn't keep getting hat hair. And then we have Hawaiian Fun Skipper, aka Megan. Her hair made the best transformation. It was really wild and kind of split looking, but it is so sleek. I'll actually show you. Yeah, it looks amazing now. Colleen was completely floored by how nice Megan looked. And then we have the Mermaid Skipper. Her crimps actually still held on there, even though I was trying to make them straight, so I also calmed her bangs down. And then Hollywood Hair Skipper. Her bangs look a lot nicer, as does the rest of her hair, but knowing how this skipper is, they'll probably get completely wild again in storage. My original plan had been to finish the episode of Dolly Diaries before the end of the month of January, because I was trying to have at least an episode every month, but I don't know what it was. I would do things and just not want to pull out my camera and film because it felt like such a chore. So I apologize that this isn't the most exciting episode, but I can fill you in on some of the things that I did. Since they tend to have different head molds, the AA dolls will have one kind of head mold and the blonde dolls will have another. It made more sense just to keep all of that info separate, and then that way it's consistent all the way through. There are things that we've been changing on YouTube. I'll touch upon that really quickly. All my thumbnails have a different font, and I reformatted them to fill out the whole frame, because thumbnails are kind of what lure people to click on a video, and I was tinkering around and realized there was a way I could get them to fill out the whole space. Because I don't have a thumbnail editing program, I do everything on Paint. But that is why, if you notice, those have changed. And obviously some of the pictures were getting replaced based on Colleen and I retaking things for Flickr. And also, in regards to my collection videos, if you go back and watch any of my old ones, I removed the disclaimer I used to have in there, which was basically that my dolls weren't for sale, trade, donation, etc. I decided to just remove those and edit them out, and I haven't been putting them in the newer videos anyway since over sometime in the late summer, which I'm sure you guys noticed if you are used to watching my collection videos all the time. Yes, that was intentional. The only video on my channel that still has that is my Monster High, because once it gets over 100,000 views, you can't go back in the YouTube editor and clip any parts out for some reason. So that's the only one, unfortunately. And I'm just glad about it because I didn't really want to have a disclaimer. It didn't really help, and I felt like it was just fuel for people who wanted to find something to be rude about. So I got 2 of these fabric things to organize my paper crafts that I make for backgrounds and saved art supplies and things. I got these at Ocean State Job Lot last month for, I want to say they were $6 each. And I was going to show me organizing them, but I got too excited and it was dark when I decided to organize them. So I could have filmed that, but I didn't. And then I put all my scrapbook paper in here. And I made some backgrounds this month that I didn't film me making all of them, but I did make quite a few. And even since my video on them, I made one more. It's this purple guy. It's dual-sided. The other side is blue polka dots. We used that for Colleen's Molly video. And I bought 3 more bins for this thing. I hung up some pictures. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing an updated tour of this room. I did one probably in 2016, and I've changed things quite a bit, like just to show how I organize stuff, because this is where I keep all my like art supplies for dolls, and also when we process the dolls. So when I'm bagging doll clothes, or we have like different projects that I keep in that basket. Just if you're interested, let me know. I would love to film that. And then Colleen got Quidditch Harry for her birthday from a friend at work. I remember seeing these at our local Walmart a few weeks ago for the first time, and I saw Malfoy and Harry, and I would have bought her Malfoy, but they were like $20, so I didn't want to spend that kind of money. So I'm really glad that she got Harry, and she has Ginny from the other line coming in the mail. We got her for free. I'll explain more about that when she comes. And then Colleen also got some more of these new Harry Potter dolls. So you've seen Dumbledore. He was in one of our haul videos or transformation videos. And then I got her Ron and McGonagall for her birthday, which was on February 2nd. But I got her these a few weeks before her birthday, because I was grocery shopping and I saw that they had them in the clearance section, and Ron was $11, and I knew how badly she wanted Ron. And they also had McGonagall, who we hadn't seen the first time, and she was in that same section, so I thought she was on sale too, but it turns out she wasn't. But since they only had 2 McGonagalls left, and they don't make any McGonagall dolls or really any kind of toys, I got her McGonagall too. They are cheaper online right now. I want to say that most of them are $15 online, and then Ginny and Ron I think were $11. And Colleen's Molly dolls changed after the collection video because we made a thumbnail, so they're wearing what they wore in the thumbnail, except old Molly here is wearing Be Forever Molly's meat outfit. So I just thought I'd show them because they look cute. So I also thought that maybe I'd do kind of what I tried to do last year, which is keep you updated on how my goals are going for the year so far. These are my January goals, and I'm proud to say that I made it my unofficial goal to get every single thing done, and you can see it is all checked off, and these are extras that obviously were done, and that's why they made the list. And then I even am keeping track now of the videos I uploaded in a month, just so that I can see how many I'm making, because sometimes I upload them a few weeks apart, or I'll have a spurt of videos. These are just the usual, doing a My Story photo for Flickr and a written post about it. And then we did all of the Molly photos, and then I ended up doing Skipper photos instead of 80s Barbies. I've been working on my transformation album. I was changing some labels over on that, and then we always do fun facts. We did 21. Then for YouTube, I didn't finish the episode, but I did film for it, so that counts. And the collection video edits was literally what I was just talking about. when it came to removing that disclaimer. That took a long time to go through each video and get rid of that. And then I did a collection video, and that was, again, the thumbnail thing I mentioned earlier. We finished. I made all the potpourri sachets I wanted. I had to fix 2 things you can see here, which I could have filmed again, but I didn't. I made 4 backdrops apparently. And then these are some extra things, those reorganizing of the bins. Once in a while I'll cheat, and if it's like the next day, the first day of the next month, if I have like 1 or 2 little things on the list that I haven't finished, I'll cross them off for the month before, just so they don't get transferred over. And I do have a whole new group of February goals. Some of them are pretty much the same, like the My Story, album retakes, fun facts. Those are things that we always try to work on every month. But I will show you those and how I did with those at the end of February. So I think I'm just going to wrap up this episode of Dolly Diaries because I've been filming for about a month now, and that way we can start fresh and maybe I'll have more motivation to film things as I do them. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next video. Until next time, love your dolls, love yourself, and love your life.